My boyfriend only likes me when I am happy. The title of this post sounds childish, I know, but I had to get the point across. This is something that I've been dealing with in my long-term relationship, 1.5 years, and it is confusing to me. Basically, my boyfriend 23M only seems to want to be around me or love me, for lack of a better term, when I am upbeat and happy or neutral. At the slightest sign of a negative or uncomfortable emotion from me, whether it be sadness, anger, jealousy, etc., he shuts down and either physically or mentally withdraws from me. Sometimes he will leave the room, sometimes he will leave my place and go home, and sometimes he will tell me to leave. If you're going to be like this. He also has no reaction to tears of any sort. I am not a big crier, so when I do cry it's serious. I have told him this also, and gets annoyed when I do cry or simply looks at me with a blank look. There are times that the negative emotions came from something he did, but sometimes these emotions have nothing to do with him and I just want him to be there for me. I have tried telling him that when I am feeling down or upset, I am not the type of person who needs or wants to be left alone. I have gone as far as to just ask him for a hug, which he is reluctant to give. It feels as though he deems every negative emotion I have as unnecessary, and would rather leave me be to sort that out. Is there a psychological component to this? I have tried suppressing these feelings around him when and if they arise, which, being human, they do at times, but it's starting to feel like I am holding things inside and don't know if this will ever change. I have also tried to change the way I address issues with him, if they concern us as a couple, but nothing seems to work. It's important to note that our relationship is great when I am in positive moods, and he can be a loving and great person. It isn't going to change, first of all. He is probably like this due to how he was raised or he had an ex who was very emotional and it messed with him IDK. Either way, this man refuses to deal with negative emotions and that won't change. There are many people like this. If you're not wanting to put up with this, consider your relationship. Maybe you want someone who is there for you no matter what. Damn, how is he going to react when someone close to you passes? One of the great perks of a boyfriend is supposed to be having someone who holds you when you cry, even something small, or who tries to make you feel better when you are angry. Not all men are like this, but if you are a sensitive person you may want to look for a man who appreciates it, which many do. My ex-boyfriend used to do something similar. Whenever I was in a sad mood he would not talk to me, and when I ask him why he is silent he would just say, "Well, how do you expect me to want to talk to you if you're in such a mood?" It's not exactly nice, and it just broke my heart. He was supposed to be my rock I could lean against when I'm feeling bad. I wanted him to care. Wanted him to ask what's wrong or how could he help. But he never wanted anything to do with my non-happy emotions. It was especially difficult during the first quarantine. So after a while of feeling neglected and unloved I decided to break up. And I feel so much better now. Nah, he ain't the one if he's not willing to emotionally support you when you need it. Write him a letter explaining your feelings and what you expect from a partner when it comes to emotional support. If he can't man up and step up, then leave him. Now you know what to talk about with the next guy before things get too serious as far as expectations go. It sounds like he represses most of his emotions and really struggles to handle it when you outwardly express yours. This is not likely to change in any big way unless he goes to therapy, which I'm going to guess he will never do. Oh dear, I've been there. I had an ex who always made me feel bad when I wasn't 100% upbeat. It made me feel worse and worse about myself. No one is happy all of the time. It's when you get married, they say, for better or worse. Don't you want to be with someone who loves all of you? My boyfriend now is so great about that. I've been down a lot lately, because of the pandemic. I felt guilty about that too. But he will hug me and try to cheer me up, and tell me again and again he loves me no matter what. Don't you want that? It's easy to be a good weather boyfriend. The two of you are supposed to be a team. If he can't support you, he doesn't deserve you. First off, don't suppress your emotions. It's important to feel them and release them. Second, your boyfriend may have had a traumatic childhood. My husband used to get mad when I cried because his dad used to do that to him. My husband has realized this and has grown to accept that I am absolutely a crier and my emotions are always close to the surface. Your boyfriend may need therapy to deal with this, but his reactions are not healthy at all. It sounds like you two need to talk and maybe go to counseling if possible. Girl, what are you doing? You think that solution for this is for you to suppress all negative emotions? Why? So your boyfriend will be happy, even though clearly he's not making any effort to make sure you're ever happy? Why are you bending over backwards for someone who has never done the same for you? Where do you see this relationship going? Seriously? What happens if you get sick? He's not going to take care of you. What happens if you get pregnant? He's not going to take care of you. He's not going to take care of your children. He's not going to do anything that's hard or unpleasant. You want to be with this person, why, exactly? Dump him and move on. In an ideal relationship, your partner is supposed to support you even when times are tough. There's a reason marriage vows include, in sickness and in health, things aren't going to be great every single day of your lives and sometimes you will feel less than 100% emotionally or physically. That's just the nature of life. But it's the duty of any decent partner to support you during those times, and vice versa. Expecting you to always be in a positive mood is not only unrealistic on his part, but insanely immature. My advice to you would be to find a partner who not only can accept and support you during those tough times, but does so eagerly. Emotionally mature men exist. Just gotta kiss a few immature frogs first, at least that's been my experience. It's important to note that our relationship is great when I am in positive moods. It's really not important to note that. Literally everyone is like that. It's not notable or meaningful in any way. Your relationship is not good just because he's only occasionally cruel to you. You are making yourself smaller in order to please him. Imagine being free to take up space. Try talking to him about it. If he doesn't love you through thick and thin, then it's not genuine. He clearly does not accept you the way you are if he is leaving once you feel down. My ex was like this. It doesn't get better. At all. Ever. Human beings experience the full range of emotions. Not just happy or neutral. This is a him thing and something he needs to fix. You can't change him or fix this for him. Refusing to deal with emotions is not functional. A relationship is about being with someone for the good and the bad, not just the good. He's going to constantly and continually let you down when you need him. You need to decide what his lack of understanding and empathy mean to you and what you're willing to deal with. Because I don't know you, but I've been in your shoes. You deserve better than what he's willing to give you. Dude, get out of there. I've never heard of a fair weather boyfriend. That's next level. I can't believe you've made it a year and a half of pretending you're an NPC with an always sunny disposition. My ex was the exact same way. Please. Leave. Him. I was truly happy after I did, and it was significant other fucking freeing that I was able to finally express any emotion other than happy. Leave him is my advice. You want someone who can handle positive, neutral, and negative feelings and times. The people you love are supposed to be there for you. What will he do if you were to get married and have children? Those kids will have plenty of negative feelings and experiences to learn about and work through. You think he will help then? I certainly don't. The cliché saying, if you don't love me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best, fits surprisingly well in your situation. With respect, you sound quite high maintenance. Kind of hard to address without knowing the causes of these negative emotions. Some people, myself included, keep an emotionally even keel for the most part. We're just not passionate, whether that be up or down. I've dated emotionally passionate people and it's often an incompatibility. Example, I had a disagreement with a partner once regarding something about responsibility and money, ultimately telling her I need more than just love for this to work. She broke down crying and screaming. She's a passionate person, her emotions would be high highs and low lows, and that did not work for me. Maybe not your situation, but without specifics it's hard to say. My husband only likes me when I'm happy, but he loves me no matter what my mood, and that's the important part. A partner doesn't need to enjoy when you're grumpy or times are hard or when you're sad, but they still need to step up and be a partner in those times. Life is hard, it has many ups and downs, and you cannot constantly be happy. Trying to weather the roller coaster of life with a partner like this will suck and will surely lead you to be unhappy much more often. Let him know, and if he won't change, let him go. You are either abusive or he is scarred from an abusive relationship. Have you tried talking to him about this when everything is fine? Look at avoidant and anxious personalities. Anxious people need their partners to help them self-soothe you. Avoidant partners can't deal with emotions. Leave. It won't get any better. If he can't love you at your worst, then he doesn't deserve to love you at your best. Do not suppress your feelings and emotions for anyone else. This is definitely a him problem and not a you problem. I hope you find someone who recognizes how wonderful you are, regardless of your mood. I want to know if you can sit with pain, mine or your own, without moving to hide it or fade it, or fix it. The Invitation, Aurea Mountain Dreamer. I once dated a guy like this. He made me feel bad for even having valid life concerns and voicing them, stressed about a big deadline, challenges of transition from college to adult life, etc. He was very, very selfish and very bad for me. I personally couldn't take it. And no, he never changed. He does not know how to be supportive in tough times and isn't willing to learn. My husband occasionally struggles with it, but if that happens and I tell him what I need, he follows through. If you want to try, and nothing wrong if you don't, sit down when all is calm to tell him that his refusal to be around and support you when you're upset is hurting the relationship. Ask why he avoids all negative emotions. If he's a jerk about this, then there's no hope and you have to decide whether or not you can keep this up. You do not have to have this conversation with him, you may already not have the emotional bandwidth to handle it, which is valid. It's disturbing how much this reminds me of how my father treated his girlfriends when I was in middle and high school. It definitely makes me think something is wrong with a person like that. Maybe it's because of past family trauma or a mental disorder, but it certainly shouldn't be normal. It comes off as manipulation, so I'd want to dig deeper with them before the relationship goes on for too long. I don't want to make commitments with someone I don't fully trust or someone I have a lot of trouble understanding in fundamental parts of our partnership. Just my two money bags. I call them fair weather boyfriends. Only want to be with you when the going is good. I was also in a similar situation. He couldn't handle any issues and was a serious conflict avoidant, so I think anytime I expressed negative emotion he didn't know how to deal. I second that he will never change, and it ends up making you feel very lonely and resentful in the relationship, like you are only a prop to smile and make him feel good. Leave him like yesterday. Please leave. My last boyfriend was like this and it destroyed me inside. If I'd enter his apartment with anything less than a peppy smile, or was sad, or quiet when leaving for a party, he'd tell me, "You might as well not come if you're going to bring down the mood," and told me, "If you're gonna be like this, seriously don't come over, I don't want to hang with you like this." He truly made me feel worthless unless I was entertaining him. I could never trust him with my true feelings, I walked on eggshells, I was so scared to do anything less than smile. Don't allow yourself to live that way. Everyone prefers people happier, but please find a man that wants to make you smile when you're crying, not leave you in the dust. Maybe avoidant attachment plus defensive fighting? My ex was like this. I now realize this was an unhealthy, toxic way for him to behave. Your boyfriend sounds like he has narc tendencies. You feel confused because of his gaslighting. You sound pretty similar to myself in terms of emotional needs, and this sounds like a very unhappy situation to be in. As for the psychological question, are you familiar with attachment theory? Your boyfriend sounds avoidant, which has two varieties, fearful or dismissive. The extent of his distancing in these situations is a really unreasonable and unfair behavior, and it's leaving you feeling emotionally abandoned. Like another commenter said, this is a problem he has to recognize and fix on his own. You need and deserve a mutually supportive relationship, with someone who's able to show up. I had two people on my life who were like this to me, my dad and an ex-boyfriend. It always felt like abandonment and negligence every time I was repelled for feeling sadness or anger. Get away from that. There are supportive guys out there who at least won't make you feel bad about your emotions and might actually support you. If you stay, you will just end up really unhappy and depressed. Take it from me, as my own father was like this, I could not just get up and leave, and I became someone who also isolates themselves to feel negative emotions because I'm afraid of rejection and abandonment, and in return take longer to get over stuff because I'm embarrassed to talk about it. Just leave. He's either a narcissist or a psychopath. Read The Psychopath Inside by James Fallon and maybe that'll help you. He's probably literally not able to empathize with you. I had a boyfriend who was very quick to anger. I felt I had to walk on eggshells around him, not being up certain topics, even try to steer him away from something in our environment that would trigger him. He would often be agitated if I cried or became upset myself. It becomes so exhausting not to be able to be yourself around your partner. It sounds like he is very emotionally unavailable, and you will need a partner to be there for you when times get tough, as they always will. Find someone who will appreciate that you are human and have a healthy emotional range. The relationship as you described it is not sustainable. A partner should be there through the good times and the bad. Leave him and stop wasting our time. See down, you know this, it's time to accept it. There can't be a future with someone who constantly acts like you have to be happy all the time. You have a right to support, and constantly invalidating or feeling like you're not human is felt a. Please, for our own sake, don't put up with any less than you deserve in this relationship, or going further it is worth it and a complete waste of our time cause it won't make you happy. Good luck. Sounds like he hasn't developed healthy methods for processing negative emotions, so his strategy has become pure, uncompromising avoidance. You're probably not going to be able to change this for him if he's unwilling to see a therapist. So, you just have to decide how the absence of this part of the relationship weighs up relative to the benefits. Maybe it's worth it, maybe it's not. Do keep in mind, if you ever planned on having kids, the downsides of this trait are liable to get way worse, young children having no ability at all to suppress their negative feelings. Yes, it's called psychopathy. This is a form of manipulation and control. He is virtually stonewalling you so you behave exactly as he wants, that you will never call out any of his bad behavior out of fear that he will break up with you. You will be better off being yourself, maintaining your own authenticity, and let this guy bully other people when they display normal human emotions and question his bad behavior. I think he shouldn't even be your friend. You're probably not meant to be together. Maybe the things you get upset about don't seem worth getting upset about to him, so he doesn't understand how he's meant to help you. For people who aren't emotional, it's hard to understand why others get emotional at very small things. Also, if you being emotional is a thing that happens frequently, he might be getting fed up of it. But hey, what do I know, I'm just some random guy. Trust your own instincts over random internet people. Sounds like a cultural thing, maybe he's British. As a solution, try not texting him or seeing him. End dates early and go home. Say, I'm feeling sad, terrible, vaguely unhappy, and understand you only want to be around happy me. I'll come back when I'm happy. In the meantime, I need to be around people who can love and support me in my non-happy moods. I'm just kidding, because I'm willing to bet that he only acts that way when you want something from him or for him to do better at his treatment of you. If you could constantly compliment him and be without needs, he would still criticize you. This is called conditional love. This is normal. Who wants to be around someone miserable? So you're mad that your boyfriend doesn't put up with your attempts to manipulate him? You act like a child and get mad when he doesn't baby you? You're a grown-ass woman. Nobody likes being around needy, emotional whiners. Stop using your boyfriend as your emotional tampon, guaranteed he doesn't do that to you. Let's do some fact-checking. Your boyfriend is 23, that's still a very immature age. You have been together for 1.5 years, that's not considered long-term. You didn't mention your age, but you seem more mature than him. First step is to talk to him, make your feelings known, remember, he's 23 years old. Second step, give it more time to see if it changes, or end your relationship and move on. You have to remember that if you are not happy in a relationship and you have tried everything, then move on. You will find another relationship that will make you happy. He should have been your ex-boyfriend long ago for this op. I do this and I'm a female. Negative emotions in my house meant someone was going to get hit and screamed at, so I learned if someone is in a mood, leave the room. Is being with someone that behaves like this sustainable? No. Can you change someone else's behavior? No. That's all you need to know. I had an ex who was similar. That relationship didn't last.